Welcome to another episode of Judge for Yourself. As you know, these programs are devoted to an examination of the Constitution, and in particular the way the rights within that Constitution are vindicated for each and every South African. Quite obviously, when you take that line of argument, then the question of the dignity of decent work becomes central to our constitutional vision. And that means in turn that job creation has now become a central issue in South African debate. As we are devoting attention to this year's election, we now focus particularly on what the parties have to say about this. Now, in February already, the DA attempted to march on a Thuli House. They were calling for sustainable job creation policy from the ANC. And there can be no doubt about it that unemployment has become an increasing problem over the past 5 years. It's also true that almost half of those who are young people are unemployed. Transformation of the economy is a critical challenge facing government. South African white men continue to be the top earners in South Africa, according to a survey by the Institute for Race Relations. This is the debate that we want to have this evening with the political parties who are here. If you'd like to join this debate on Twitter, please use the hashtag JFYJobs. Now, to debate this topic, we are joined by Dr. Rob Davies, who is the Minister of Trade and Industry and ANC NEC member. We also have Floyd Shivhambu, Commissar for Political Education, Policy and Research for the EFF, and Dr. Wilmot James, DA Federal Chairperson. The way we're going to structure the debate this evening is each party will be given 90 seconds, and I'm going to be very strict, I should tell you, about that. It gives me one opportunity to exercise some discipline on each of the parties as to what their manifesto is with regard to job creation. And I'm going to start with you, Dr. James.
Well, the Democratic Alliance's goal is to grow our economy at 8% a year and to reach that by 2025. And this will add 16 million jobs to the economy and reduce unemployment to 11. And as growth, at 8% growth, we can double the budget, which means that there'll be much more money to spend on education, housing, and so on. Now, to speed this up, jobs are created by the private sector. To speed this up, we will provide quality education by training 15,000 more teachers per year and giving every child a textbook in the class in every subject. We will increase the National Student Financial Aid Scheme budget to 16 billion. We will create 1 million internships to give work experience to young people. We will provide 7 million EPWP, these are the Extended Public Works Program, opportunities to alleviate poverty. We will make South Africa a nation of entrepreneurs. We will improve black economic empowerment so that it provides an incentive scheme for companies that invest in their workers and create jobs, very important. And we want to break up inefficient state monopolies and distribute shares to ordinary citizens to increase competition, to bring down prices and put real assets in people's hands. And finally, we want to invest 10% of GDP in infrastructure, in our roads, ports, railways, airways, water and communications, so that the economy can grow at the pace that is appropriate.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping time. Minister.
Well, I think the ANC sees unemployment in this country as structural in nature, that we need to bring about structural changes in our economy if we're going to deal with the scourge of unemployment and reduce it. And we have identified in our manifesto of the job drivers that we had previously been working on in the new growth path. We have singled out two of them in our manifesto, and these are infrastructure development and industrialization. And infrastructure development, we have spent 1 trillion rand on infrastructure in the last 5 years, which is more than double the highest record, which was the term before us. We are planning to spend another 850 billion on infrastructure in the next 3 years in the current medium-term expenditure period. On industrialization, we are pushing ahead with the work which was started under the Industrial Policy Action Plan, but with the particular focus on moving towards the aspirational target that was agreed in the accord with business, labour, government and community of 75% local content. In addition to that, we think that there's a need to ramp up the expanded public works programs, to focus on education and training and skills development, and also to bring in land reform and small-scale agricultural development, as well as generally supporting small business development with a particular focus on developing productive sector entrepreneurs in our economy.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping to time. Mr. Shivhambu,
Yes,
you've got your 90 seconds starting now.
Well, we have to start first with what has been since 1994. The current government has been unable to bring unemployment below 20% in a narrow definition sense, and in the expanded definition sense has been unable to bring unemployment below 35%. Because there was so much faith in the private sector that the state must not play a role in industrial development. It must leave the markets and the private sector to create job opportunities and jobs. Now, as the EFF, we're saying that we need a decisive break from the neoliberal and basically right-wing policy framework that dominated the first 20 years of our democracy. The first thing we're going to do to create jobs is to pursue state-led sustainable industrial development to make sure that we create many job opportunities. And the state must play an active role in protecting the new industries and the existing industries so that they are not subjected to unfair competition from other parts of the world. The second component about that is about making sure that we drive many job opportunities out of the food economy. Currently, South Africa imports food from Brazil, from the US, from the EU. We are going to stop that and make sure that all food which is consumed in South Africa is produced locally. And the food economy chain is going to create many job opportunities. The third aspect of that is building state capacity and making sure that service delivery is labor absorptive. Instead of giving one person a tender to deliver services or to build a road in a village, we must have a labor absorptive, sustainable job creation method to make sure that as many people as possible get job opportunities. Not job opportunities, actually jobs. Because the job opportunity story is about creating casual labor. Ourselves want to create sustainable jobs out of EPWP. And then the last aspect,
No, you've
that.
gone on. I'll give you over 100 seconds.
Okay,
Longer
that's fine.
than then,
I'll come back to
you'll
that,
come back to these issues. I need to take a break and then we want to debate these questions.
News that moves. ENCA.com.